What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. Well, the search is over. They have finally named their Superman, and it's this guy, David Corenswet, who is now cast as Clark Kent in Superman Legacy. And then we also have Rachel Brosnahan being cast as Lois Lane in the upcoming James Gunn film. And listen, I'm not going to be negative about this. I actually think this worked. Even though I'm a big Henry Cavill guy in terms of Superman, I think Henry Cavill was the obvious choice. They definitely should have went in his direction. But since they flipped the script and got rid of him, okay, I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, okay, he can play the part. He actually looks like Henry Cavill. It's like they kind of went out and found the most Henry Cavill looking guy they could find to play this part. So look, no hate whatsoever. I'm cool with this. However, it's going to be interesting to see how this guy takes on the role. You got to remember, Superman is an icon. He's an icon for the ages. He is an American icon. That S goes everywhere. Everywhere you go, that S, everybody knows what that S means on that chest. That shield, that symbol, that logo, you want, whatever you want to call it. That is Superman, and that is a huge, huge responsibility for this young actor. And, you know, I don't think when you look at his IMDb, yeah, he hasn't had a lot of big roles and work, you know, throughout. You know, Pearl, I saw Pearl, like I said, his Pearl was pretty decent. But everything else is like, okay, you know, I think this is his biggest role here, this Hollywood, playing a guy, Jack Costello. And I saw a couple of clips of it. The man can act, he can do the job. But it's one thing to be on a Netflix miniseries. It's another thing to be Superman, right? So you got to figure that this guy has got his work cut out for him. We'll see how he does. It's a huge role. Yeah, and you can see there, I mean, he looks the part. And that's one of the biggest things about Superman. You got to look like Superman. That's why everybody loved Henry Cavill so much. You find a guy that looks absolutely perfect in the suit. This guy looks like a younger version of Superman, but not too young. I'm glad they didn't go straight out of Smallville. You know, like this guy just first day on the job as Superman. I didn't want to see that movie, all right? I think, you know, he looks like he's in his like late 20s, early 30s, somewhere like that. I think the actor's 29. Perfect age. You know, again, he's probably got a few years of superhero work under his belt, being Superman for a couple of years. That's what you want to see. A Superman that's already coming into his own, but maybe meeting his first big challenge, you know, something like that. I think that would be a good start for this particular actor and this particular leg of the DC universe. And then when it actually comes to playing the character of Superman, I've always seen Superman as sort of a trichotomy of three different personalities. Obviously, you got Superman, you know, the big iconic hero, you know, flying through the sky, saving the day, you know, the icon of truth, justice, the American way. You got that guy. But then you got Clark Kent. Clark Kent is the alter ego of Superman, you know, the mild-mannered reporter for the Daily Planet, bumbling, stumbling guy, right? Nobody would ever guess that this, you know, Kansas farm boy, you know, that grew up under the tutelage of Jonathan and Martha Kent, nobody would ever think that this guy is Superman. You know, he puts out that kind of a face, you know, Clark Kent. That's like his alter ego for the hero. But then actually you have a third personality, in my opinion. I see Kal-El, the last son of Krypton, son of Jor-El, an intelligent Kryptonian. You know, you got this intelligent guy that only shows that true side of himself to friends and family like Lois, or maybe, you know, his parents. That's pretty much it. So you got that side of him as well. The last surviving member of an alien race, you know, and the weight that he carries from that, you know. So all of that is encompassed in his true personality, which is Kal-El. And then you got Superman, the guy that's out there performing the heroics, but then you also have Clark Kent. So I always see it as like a trichotomy of personas and personal motivations, like what these guys are trying to accomplish. And for me, that's going to be the biggest thing. If this guy can pull all of that off in a believable way, you know, he's nailed it. He gets my thumbs up, okay? And this is his first big major film. He hasn't done a whole lot. So he's carrying the entire weight of the DCU on his shoulders. This is the first big thing. And if you don't get Superman right, the rest of it falls apart. You gotta get Superman right. Again, that's one of the things I felt. Keep Cavill, because Cavill looks the part. People accept him. People want to see a great Superman movie with Cavill, but nevertheless, they're going in another direction. I got to shut up about that. But in my opinion, I think that this is a very positive start. And then you got Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, I believe. I haven't seen The Marvelous Miss Maisel, never checked it out, but I've heard great things about it. She's won awards, so clearly the woman can act. So I don't think there's anything wrong there. I'm perfectly fine with this casting. You know, I was a little worried about who would they get to play Superman, and I think they nailed it 100%. I think they nailed it. So yeah, no shade, right? No hate. I think this works. I think this works 100%. You know, you got your Superman, you got your Lois, you got your superhero power couple, right? The president and first lady of all of superhero-dom, of all of comic books, movies, you name it, all right? Superman and Lois Lane. You gotta nail them parts, and they gotta be great. And I think that this is going to work. I honestly believe that. But it really is going to come down to, one, how well can these two shoulder that weight, that responsibility of, you know, basically the entire DCU? You know, that's a huge responsibility. This article actually kind of mentions that somewhere in here. Let me see. Yeah, it says here, right? Few roles are as coveted or come with as much pressure as Superman. And that's doubly true in the current landscape, as Corenswet will anchor a new universe as DC attempts to reinvent itself after a streak of misses with October's Black Adam, Shazam's Fury of the Gods, the recent Flash. We still got Blue Beetle and Aquaman on the way. Like I've been saying all along, and I'll link the video above where I just talked about this, that the DC brand is completely tarnished right now. It's just 100% in the mud. And they are, I mean, this is yeoman's work we're talking about that these guys are taking on. They got to really do the job. And it is going to come down to those two because they're the forward-facing, you know, characters of the franchise, of the DC franchise, Superman and Lois. Those are the two biggest ones, in my opinion. You know, Batman obviously is there as well. But I'm talking about your, you know, you got your president, you got your first lady. And those two go before everything that you do. And if you don't get those two right, Batman will be fine on his own. He's already proven that that character will be fine with or without the DC universe. But I don't think the DC universe survives if Superman doesn't work. And it's really going to come down to James Gunn's script. James Gunn's script, James Gunn's direction, his execution of whatever it is that he's written for Superman Legacy. That first film that's coming out in about like what, 2 years? 2 years and a few weeks? That thing is going to be humongous. If he doesn't nail that thing to the ground, this thing goes up in smoke before it even starts, right? It's just going to be another reminder, oh yeah, DC can't get it right. You know, so they absolutely have to nail this, but they've already gotten off to a great start with the cast. Again, I think that these two right here, I think that these two absolutely looked the part. This is Superman, this is Lois. I 100% believe that. But again, we'll see where it happens, okay? It's a long 2 years leading up. I want to have these two honestly just marching around, hanging out everywhere, okay? You guys are going to be the best of friends right now. And I'm going to put you guys out there on every red carpet, on any interview show that I can get. I want these guys to be splashed all over the world. I want everybody to know who these two are, you know? Not too much to where they get annoying, but enough to where everybody's like, yo, I can't wait to see how these two pull it off. Hopefully they're personable and, you know, because again, you got a lot of brand damage to fix with the DCU. You got a lot of brand damage to fix. And again, if they can pull it off, you're going to be off to a great start. But the main thing that people want is a great Superman film. Before any of all that stuff, you got to make sure that that film is up to par, that it's up to snuff, that it is phenomenal. And yeah, that's going to be on James Gunn. That's going to be on James Gunn 100%. Anyway, folks, what do y'all think about this situation? What do y'all think about this casting? I know a lot of folks that watch my channel, big Henry Cavill fans. You guys know I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan, and I was cursing this thing the moment it came out. But again, I'm going to give it everything. I give everything a fair shot. I'm going to give this a fair shot. So far, I am impressed. I like what I see. I think this is very, very good casting. But you guys go ahead, jump down in the comments, give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.